This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Regina Lee.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's broadcast of the Good Neighbor Podcast. And I have with us this morning Ada Stevens. She and her husband, Doug, own SnapHappy Photos, and they work the Charlotte Metro, Union County area. Welcome, Ada.
Thank you, Regina. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So, I've had the pleasure of knowing you and Doug for years. I see you at chamber meetings working, and I just know how incredibly busy you guys have gotten over the years. You do great work. So tell us a little bit about what SnapHappy does and how you got into this business.
So we're almost 17 years old. I founded the company back in 2007. But it all started with Doug. He is my third and favorite husband. And for some reason, he decided for my first birthday with him to give me a little digital point and shoot. And it just woke up something in me that I had no idea I had. My mom was a photographer, so I knew that she had the eye, but I just had never pursued it for myself. And this digital world gave me the chance to download photos, look at them, and enjoy them and start printing and all that stuff. So about a year later, after we were married, he gave me a DSLR, my very first Canon. It was a 30D. And I just was like blown away by how much more I could do now with the camera, many settings and all this stuff. So I went to a local camera club. It was called Kendall Camera Club. They're still around. They're probably like 50 years old now. And I met all kinds of people there, from hobbyists to professionals. And everyone was so kind to help me learn my camera better, practice. We would go on field trips all the time. And the people would come up to me and say, what settings do you have? And of course, I'm not supposed to be on automatic. So I learned a lot from them. And one of the people that I learned from ended up being my mentor and a teacher later. So fast forward again, another year or so, where a friend of my daughter's asked me to photograph her daughter. I just became enamored with people photography from that. And Doug was the one that sort of pushed me and said, you're very passionate about this. Why don't you just quit your job? And he could handle the bills at that point. So, okay, I said, yes, absolutely. So I quit my job on a day that I had a really nice commission check, left the company, and I've never looked back.
That is cool.
Yeah. And this guy was incredibly influential because he would teach me what to look for in the background, what to focus on, how to change your settings. So I've had so many great mentors over the years, and just have this tremendous passion and enthusiasm for what I do.
Well, photography is not easy when you do it manually, as you've explained. I was gifted a very fancy camera, and I've been to 2 classes, and I don't even barely know past turning it on. It is very, very hard. So it's amazing that you took that much time to learn your craft. So fast forward now, how did you get to Charlotte from Miami?
So 6 years ago, we moved here. We were following my daughter. My oldest daughter decided that they wanted to move from Miami here. Cost of living, the schools. They have a daughter who's now 11. And of course, I was glued to them. So I wanted to be with them. And we were so happy to leave Miami. Miami's just a tough place to be. And Charlotte has welcomed us with open arms. We moved here only knowing my daughter and her friend, and knew that we had to join a lot of organizations. So we became extremely involved in many networking groups, have changed some of them since then, but that's the way to get known. And I would do some free events here and there for people to see our work, and just having good people skills and being extremely friendly. Both Doug and I are very friendly. So we just got to get known. And then I volunteer a lot. So I do a lot of volunteering in different groups. And that's, again, another way to get known.
Right. So Doug then joined you, and you both do this full time. Right?
Yes. It's going to be 13 years that he joined me.
Oh, wow. So let's tell everybody, I'm looking at the laundry list of things you guys photograph. I'm on your website, and talk to us a little bit about, that world? What kind of photography do you do for people?
Well, the one that I kind of end up doing the most is headshots because I'm networking and everybody needs a new headshot. So I get a lot of those referrals. And I'm very proud to say that we've done, in some cases, 80, 100 people in a very short time because we have a really fast system. They're seeing their photos on a tablet as they're coming out of the camera. So they get to look at what they're doing and kind of change their pose a little bit, they themselves, or I coach them on what to do. And I'm very fast at building rapport with people, getting them to relax. You wouldn't believe how many people get in front of me and say, I am terrified of being photographed. I don't like pictures of myself. And then they're happy with what I do. So I touch up everything. I do not hand anything in straight from the camera. We are very passionate about retouching every single photo that we hand into a client, whether it's a headshot or even an event photo. They are edited. They're not retouched, but they are edited for the best color, the best kind of lighting, exposure. And that way the people are very happy with their photos. I've run into photographers that are just snapping, and then they just turn everything into the client without any other editing. And it's like, no, you got to put your best foot forward. So
that's fantastic.
And events are actually what I love to do the most.
So the situation you just described, you're going to like a business office where they have many employees and they're just have hired you to do everyone's individual headshots?
That is one, or they having a big meeting with people coming from all over and I set up somewhere and then the people come in. Like recently I did a medical group and I don't know why they had these people coming in, but they had told me ahead of time, we're going to have about 30 people coming for this meeting. And the lady was extremely helpful. She would grab them as they walked out of the elevator and we were set up in a room right next to it. And she would just say, okay, you're next. And they all knew ahead of time. So they came dressed properly, but it went so fast. We did over 30 people in about an hour and a half.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you do headshots. What else? And I think you said Doug has his passion area as well, but
yes. So both of us do events. We are connected with several groups in the area that where we get a lot of conferences. Since 2021, we've actually done over 30 conferences, from smaller 5-hour events to multi 5-day events, where they are mostly at the Charlotte Convention Center or the Westin or the Valentine Hotel. And we really love those large events. That's where we thrive. And we know what the marketing people are looking for. They want the handshakes. They want the people engaged, looking at the speaker doing something fun. So we are very programmed in our heads to work those and love doing those. And then I personally love the family events, the big birthdays, the big milestone anniversaries, because you have people coming from all over and it's just a fabulous time, a wonderful time to kind of get those memories of grandma with all her grandkids, all the siblings together, the cousins, whatever it is that people, it's hard to get together. So when they come together for something like this, I love just finding new groupings that they didn't think of and getting them done.
Well, and there's lasting memories. I can see the
Exactly.
joy in your face as you talk about what you guys do. What are you most proud of when you look back on these years? You know, you've done a lot. Is there anything that jumps out?
Well, I think it's maintaining ourselves. We basically closed our Miami operation 100% when we left 6 years ago, and we came here with no clients. And both Doug and I worked really hard. He does what he does is corporate, like buildings and architectural photos. And we have inserted ourselves so deeply in the community that people think we've been here forever. And it's just real. I'm very proud that how well we've grown our community of people who know us, to the point that he got Hyatt approved. He's done hotel photography and Sotheby's realty photography. And now he's looking for interior designers. But I think just being very open to meeting people. I just love people. So I love anything with where I can give back and help mentor somebody younger, maybe, or anyway, it's just, and Charlotte, like I said, has been a very welcoming place. So we feel very at home here.
It is. Everyone I talk to just absolutely loves Charlotte. What is one thing that you want our listeners to know about you guys, your business, that they wouldn't know?
I think some people think that photography is easy. Everyone has a phone and they think that's all I really need. And to me, there's so much more to it. When we have a big event, we usually, if we haven't worked at the place, we make a point of going to visit the location to get familiar with the lighting. So there's a lot of planning ahead of time to make sure that what we're walking into, we understand what our limitations are and what we're doing there. Then I also, after we shoot everything in camera raw, which is a setting in the camera where you absolutely have to do editing. So we have very heavy programs in our computers with Lightroom and Photoshop where every photo has to be edited. So that means that we have one image is about 25 megs, and we have to look at the lighting, the cropping, how sharp it is. How do we adjust anything with clarity? There's a lot of settings that we have to adjust. And we have a system where we have done it so much that we can just kind of grab one photo. We know the lighting is the same for all the other photos. So we can multiply that very quickly, kind of clone it with all the other photos, and then it still individually go into each image. So there's a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't know. And even with that, we still hand in photos extremely quickly. Event planners especially like that we can give them highlight photos like within hours of the event. Wow. Where they can show those off on social media. And then, of course, the rest of it, it's almost always within a week. And even headshots. I handed in those 31 retouched photos within a week for the people that had them. So, we have our systems.
Right. And it's so advanced sounding, and digital has changed everything, as you mentioned. Amazing. Well, it sounds like you and Doug live very hectic lives. I know from personally being around you guys that you are at a lot of events. You're involved with chambers and BNIs and things all over the city. So when you're not working, what do you do for fun?
Pickleball. I have been playing since 2020, and thankfully for my daughter and her husband who got me into it. And now I'm a member of Matthew's Swim and Tennis Club. Highly recommend that everybody come out. We have 6 new courts, and I play about 3 times a week. And it is the most social and fun place. We actually have a social next Friday with barbecue, and we're playing and we're eating and drinking. It's a Friday evening, but it's just a great place to exercise, let go of everything, and do something good for yourself. So that's
and stay active. And you are very social. I think that's amazing. Amazing. So
and Doug loves it too, because I get away. No, because
we do that together.
We're home most of the time, working from home, and he's in the next room. So this is our chance to do something separate. It's very healthy for our marriage. We've been married almost 20 years now. So
what a great story. Your favorite husband. All right. So tell everyone how to reach you. Your website is beautiful, by the way. The gallery of photos, you can just see the level of excellence. So how do people find you guys?
So SnapHappyPhotos.com, that's our regular website. On Facebook, we are SnapHappy Photos LLC. Please come and visit that and like our page. We're also on Instagram, SnapHappy Photos Charlotte. And then my phone number is 704-773-0520. Always happy to speak with someone and find out what they're looking to do for their photography. One of the things I didn't mention is that we always ask, are you working with a marketing company or somebody that's giving you any guidelines? Because we need to know what their guidelines are, and that way we can incorporate it into the photos that you need.
That's fantastic. Well, you're good and professional. It just, you're running this like a real business and not a hobby.
Oh, it is.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Well,
woman owned too.
Yes. It's been a pleasure. catching up with you. It's been a while since I've seen you, and thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpsouthcharlotte.com. That's gnpsouthcharlotte.com or call 980-351-5719.